Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Real Housewives of Potomac Season 2, Episode 9, which was titled A Host of Issues. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that, when we're doing these videos, at least when I'm doing the videos, it kind of lets us know we're on the right track if you comment and rate the videos, and of course subscribe to the channel. So your girl is looking for a little love here, so let me know what you think about the videos, what you thought about the shows, any questions that you might have is greatly appreciated because it lets me know that I am on the right track and you guys are checking me out and feeling me. So let's go ahead and get started. So the show opens up with Ashley and Michael at the restaurant. Well, actually, Ashley was at the restaurant and she was with the guy, Chef Brad, and they were kind of looking at that box with the critics' comments in it. So she was kind of afraid to read the comments, but as she started reading them, they were all positive. I'm sure there were some negative ones in there also, but the ones she read were all positive, and people were basically saying that she needed to go with more of an American flair. Like everybody else was telling her, American dishes with the seasoning and taste of Australian fare. So somehow she's got to figure out, how to get a fair balance with that. So then Michael comes in and two of them are talking and he apologizes to Ashley, but it turns into another back and forth, and then he tells her that she's too defensive and that the reason he, threatened to close the restaurant was basically to get her attention, but, they've got to reach a common ground and figure out, what they're going to do as far as their relationship is concerned. And Ashley has the restaurant, and now she's tired of the old white man. And I'm wondering if Ashley thinks that if she leaves this man that she's going to get to take that restaurant. Because I'm thinking that if she tries to divorce this man, she gonna find out what she's really in for, unless they have like a ironclad prenup or something. But I think that I really believe she's acting very gold diggerish right now, because it's like she thinks she has that restaurant, and so she doesn't have to give him a baby, she doesn't have to do anything else, and if he leaves, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure that if she tries to leave him, she's going to be leaving with the shirt on her back, and that's about it. So then we go over to Karen and Giselle, and they go to lunch, and I think the place was called Summer House, but they were dressed very summerish and really pretty, looking fresh and, rejuvenated. And we find out that it's really an intervention because Charisse and Monique are on their way. And so Karen says that Giselle needs to come correct because everyone likes Monique and they want her to be in the circle of friends. So Giselle needs to find out a way to work with everybody and get along with Monique, basically. And so they don't want to have to vote her off the island. But if it comes to that, I guess they have the votes to get rid of Giselle and keep Monique. So when Charisse and Monique get there, Karen asks her about the champagne room, and so she basically says that if it was up to her, she would be done with the champagne room, but I guess that Eddie is her husband there. He must be holding up the funds and delaying progress because he knows she ain't gonna be in that house once that divorce is finalized. So once the ladies get to talking, the bickering back and forth gets started between Giselle and Monique and Karen on, and Monique is, rehashing everything that's happened since she's been hanging out with the ladies and pointing out everything that Giselle has done to her. And so when Giselle got ready to talk, she started choking. And then Monique was like, God took the air out of her throat. And I thought that was so funny because I tell that to people all the time, like, you was about to tell a lie and God just stopped you in your track. So when she said that, I was like, you're right, Monique. She knew she was about to say something she didn't have any business saying. So they're just like going back and forth, back and forth. And Monique, I think Giselle, when Charisse had asked Giselle something about Monique, and then Giselle did something like this, like to tell Monique to shut up, and then Monique was like, you're not going to do this to me. You don't tell me to shut up. I don't appreciate that. So I don't know how they're going to find common ground with these two, or if they just going to hate each other for the sake of hating each other. But they definitely got off on the wrong foot, and I don't know how they're going to get back on track. So then Sharice tries to intervene and starts talking about her issues, and, which leads to her starting to shed a few tears. So Karen is like, girl, this luncheon isn't about you. It is about getting Monique and Giselle together and get them to work out their differences. And if you need a girlfriend moment, then we'll set something up and I'll take you to lunch. But right now, let's focus on, what we came here to do. So then we go over to Monique and Chris. And so they're planning a birthday party. It's their daughter's first birthday. So they're supposed to be going all out, having this birthday party / christening. And so Monique lets us know that the party is going to be at their 26-acre, 5,500 square foot ranch house, I think in Virginia somewhere. And she plans to invite 200 people, and that her budget is $20,000, but she'll probably spend $30,000. And I'm just like, seriously? Like, you're going to spend that much money on a doggone first birthday party? So, Monique is what we call hood rich. People with new money, and they don't know how to act, and they're just spending it on ridiculousness. And then, 5 years down the road, her and that man ain't gonna have nothing because they're gonna be wasted on stupid stuff. But anyway, so then they get to talking about the guest list, and she says that, all of her family is coming. And then he says that he doesn't think that his mom is going to come because the dad had just had surgery. And Monique was like, oh. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, you didn't know that your father-in-law had surgery and that they wouldn't be able to come to this party? Or did you plan the party around the time that you knew they weren't going to be there? So I thought that was kind of messy and tykey on Monique's part, but she didn't seem to be too concerned about the mother-in-law or the father-in-law not coming, which says a lot about her. And so she says she wants to invite all the ladies, but she's not going to invite Giselle. And then she was like, oh, because the lake house is 2 hours away, and I don't want to have to, put anyone out. And so, like, okay, you going in it with the wrong attitude, which I understand her not inviting Giselle. I probably wouldn't invite Giselle too, but just don't be so pretentious about it. Then we learned that Karen has a buyer for her house, and I think she said that it was somebody from China, and that they were paying, it was a cash transaction. So now that they've sold the house, they need to start looking for their own house, because obviously they haven't found anything. And she just seems to be really happy that they have this cash on hand now for this house. So I'm starting to wonder if Karen and her husband are having some serious financial trouble. Then they went on to Robyn. So Robyn took Dr. Jeff's advice and decided to go see a therapist. So the therapist's name is Kier. It's K-I-E-R. So Kier Johnson. But, she talks to Robyn and she keeps it straight with her. So Robyn admits that the reason that she's staying with Juan is because she has a fear of meeting new people, and that, the person she meets might be crazy, and she just don't want to deal with the issues, of finding someone new or getting to know someone new. So that Kier asked her, where she gets love from. And she says that, she gets it from her kids and her parents. And I'm thinking like, wow, how many of us are in that same situation where, we get the affection that we need from our children and from our relatives and from our friends and everything. And then that kind of like makes us not think about the fact that we don't have that significant other in our lives. And so I kind of agree with Karen, because there's just so much craziness going on out in the world, and nobody has time to be playing games with these ninjas out there and sleeping, with this guy and that guy. And I'm like, we would just be by ourselves, Robyn, because I'm not with the one night stands and the booty calls and all that. That's just not me at all. And if that's what it takes to find, the next guy, then I'm just going to be here by myself, because it ain't happening. So then Robyn also admits to the therapist that she would like to fall in love with another person other than Juan, or somebody that she's dated before. So then the therapist gave her some homework and told her to go home and define what trust means to her, and then write down a list of all the people who have helped her define trust, like who she thinks that she has trust in, or who she can trust in life. And so that would be interesting to see what that list looks like. And so she also instructed Robyn to go out on a few dates. And Robyn said that it's been 4 years since she's been on a date. And I guess it was when her and Juan first divorced. She was trying to get out there and get with somebody else. And I guess he was cock blocking and been cock blocking ever since then. So then Sharice is throwing all kinds of shade at Karen about this house and, her trying to buy a new house. And she was saying that she was happy that Karen finally sold the house because they had then dropped the price on it so many times that it was about time somebody, actually bought it. So it'd be interesting to know how much Karen sold that house for, because she was trying to act like the Chinese people had to pay her asking price for it. And then the two of them get together and they decide that they're going to plan a girls' trip to Bermuda. Now, it seems like the Bermuda trip will probably be a lot of fun, but only if they could get Giselle and Monique to work out their differences, because I could just see all kind of tension coming about if the two of them still pouting and fighting and carrying on. So then they had like this quick little scene where they were in this class, and I guess it was like a swinging class where they had like this fabric hanging from the ceiling, and then you lay in the fabric and swing around. That looked like it might be a lot of fun. I'm going to have to check and see if they do something like that where I live at, because I think I'd like to try that out. So then we go back to Monique, and of course she's being team too much, with this party. And, of course, whenever they have a scene where there's an event, we always have these panicking moments where things aren't turning out right. And in this case, traffic is a beast, and everyone from the caterer to the valet parking company to some of the guests are delayed. And so she's franticking and freaking out, trying to figure out what's going to happen, when people start getting there, if they aren't all set up and all this stuff. So as the guests start arriving, we learn that Michael opted not to come to the lake house because he decided to go to the beach house and reflect on life and his issues with Ashley. And then Juan didn't come because he's still hosting the basketball camp. Now, I don't know if this is a summer camp for this basketball camp, or if this was an editing issue because remember the camp was last week. So I don't know why we're still talking about the camp. But anyway, that's why Juan couldn't come. And then why these ladies keep showing up in these heels at functions that do not require heels, because here they are, trying to walk through the grass to get to the party area, and they all have on high heel shoes, about to break their damn ankles and carry it on. And I'm just like, just chill out and relax. Like, you can put on shorts and a t-shirt or a sundress without having on heels. Like, you don't have to be looking fabulous all the time. And I think Monique had on the bathing suit, so I don't know what was going on with them, but they're gonna learn about wearing them heels when it's not appropriate to wear heels. Monique introduces Ashley and Sharice, I think it was, to her parents, and her mother is real pretty, looks real young. And somehow Ashley wanders off with the dad, and then they start talking about divorce. So I guess her parents are divorced, and he's telling her, about what life is like after the divorce, and then, you'll be okay. And I'm just thinking this was such a random conversation to be having with somebody that you're just meeting for the first time. But I guess it, fit the script that, Ashley's going on where she's sick of Michael and she may want a divorce. And we have a scene that kind of, the camera kind of panned over to the bar area, and they over there pouring drinks. So I'm like, okay, you're at a 1-year-old's birthday party. You drove there with your kids and you're over there drinking alcohol. Like, how irresponsible and inappropriate that was. But hey, with 200 people, I'm sure they had way more guests than they had kids there. And then Monique is sitting there talking about she probably was going to spend $30,000 on that party. And I'm thinking, girl, you may have spent, I'm going to give you about $10,000. And that's being really generous, because I have planned zoo parties, and I have attended zoo parties, where you bring in the little animals from the little farms and stuff, like the goats and the lambs, and some horses for the kids to ride. Then they had like the bounce houses and some little carnival games and stuff. And I can tell you, she did not spend $20,000 or $30,000 on that party. And I'm like, hell, I done did the church picnic before for 800 people, where we had all that stuff y'all had, minus the alcohol and the animals. And that was around $8,000 for 800 people. So Monique, you gonna have to try and impress somebody else with that. So then we have Robyn and Giselle after the party, and they go to the spa, and Robyn tells Giselle that she hates to be the bearer of bad news, but she wasn't invited to the party. And then she goes on to tell her, but we had a great time, and the boys really had fun, and I think your girls would have enjoyed it too. And I'm like, Robyn, like, you shouldn't even say it. Well, I guess she had to say something because she didn't want Giselle to find out about the party and find out that she was there. But Giselle said it's cool because if she had been invited, she would not have attended anyway. And so I'm like, okay, so let's just move on from that. Then Giselle also mentions Karen is being, no, was it Giselle or Robyn? Oh, it was Robyn that mentioned that Karen was being very possessive of the trip to Bermuda, and that, you know, they hope it doesn't be any mess and that they can work it out. And I think they started talking about, you know, her in the house and whatever. So then we have Karen, you know, she goes to Charisse to let Charisse know that she isn't partnering with her on the trip to Bermuda, that she just needs her help. And so Charisse is like, well, no, I'm co-hosting this. Like, I'm not going to be your administrative assistant. And so they go back and forth with this foolishness, and then they finally decide that what they'll do is Karen will host one night. So Karen is going to host the welcome party the night that they get there, and then Charisse is going to host a boat ride that they're going to do on the trip or something. So they'll each be responsible for something, and it seems like it's going to turn into like a competition as, you know, who did the best job, or either something to go wrong on one of the days and then the other one can be like, see, I told you needed my help. But cray for real. But we'll see how the trip to Bermuda turns out. So the show ended with Ashley and Michael, and they go to a pottery class, and I'm starting to think that Ashley really thinks that she has more pull and power in this relationship than she really does. And, you know, she asked Michael if, she said, I know we love each other, but are you still in love with me? And so Michael says, yeah, you know, I'm in love with you. And then he tells her that, you know, he just feels like their 1 + 1 = less than 2. So I'm just like, okay, so who not bringing their full load to the party? And then he brings up, you know, about he wants to have a baby, and Ashley says that she just isn't in a place to have a baby, and, you know, wanting to bring a child into this world, you know, that they have, and that the restaurant has taught her a lot about their relationship. So I don't know if Ashley and Michael, you know, have decided to part ways and they're just introducing this into the show, or if they just needed a storyline, because this season has really not been very eventful, and seem like they all are just making it up as they go along. So we'll see if it gets better and if this trip to Bermuda adds some excitement to the show. So that's it for me, guys. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Leave your comments below. Rate the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope that everyone has a wonderfully blessed week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.